Hey, you guys. Welcome to Growing with the
Fans,
Griffins.
welcome.
I'm LaQuisha, a.k.a. Lala.
And I'm Marcus, her favorite husband.
So this podcast is going to be based around faith, family, growth, real life love. And let's be honest, nobody really talks about what marriage looks like after the wedding, after all the fuzzies and the butterflies and all that. No one really talks about what happens after that. So today we're going to share our truths. We're going to talk about what we fought through, what we healed through, and ultimately what we're loving through.
Absolutely. If you're not married, if you're engaged, or thinking about getting married, this is the place for you. We'll be talking about love. We'll be talking about different triggers. We'll be talking about trauma, communication breakdowns, and figuring out how not to lose yourself in the process. Welcome to episode 1. Today, we'll be talking about the wedding was easy and the real work came after.
Yes.
So, babe, talk to me a little bit. Before getting married, right? Like, what was your expectations? And then talk to me about, like, realities after marriage.
Let's see. I would say some of my expectations with getting married were, having someone that could share the load with me, having someone that I would, ultimately be best friends with, and in my mind, it would be like us waking up like, good morning, husband, smoochy.
Right.
Every single day. Of course, we all know, like, reality is, there are going to be days where it's not the best. But I think in my head, I didn't picture or I didn't really understand that it was going to be sometimes that we would trigger things from our past.
Right.
Just with being around each other, so found out some things with us this year of marriage.
Absolutely.
How about you?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I'll say one of my expectations that I had prior to actually saying I do was like, me being the head of the household. I'm gonna be taking on all of the bills. I'm gonna be this husband that has the house down packed. We're on a locomotive type of system every single day. My wife had to want for nothing because I had her. You know what I mean? But one thing I found out literally about marriage is like it's way more of a partnership.
Yeah.
And I consult with you on things, and you consult on me on things, and the outlook of masculinity had to change in my eyes because I always felt as long as I'm taking care of the mortgage, as long as I'm taking care of the bills, that's it, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing my husband duties, but it's way bigger than that, right? Being there for you emotionally, being there for you through the ups, through the downs, game planning with you, budgeting was something that I never done prior to getting budget meetings, right? Like these things were like the true reality of marriage that I didn't think of prior to saying I do. And also my emotions and being emotionally constant through different situations, and how my emotions can dictate how the house swings. So these are all new realities that like you don't prepare yourself for before saying I do. I knew I loved you. I knew I wanted to do life with you. I was so excited about that, but it was like, okay, there's a lot more than just love, that comes with marriage. So, I'm excited.
That's real. That's real. I didn't think that. But so I think for a lot of couples that I've run in contact with, family, friends, when you first get married, everyone has an expectation in their head of how they see or dream the life that you want with your husband or with your wife to be. But once you get married, once the I-dos are done, the, honeymoon is over, you're back at home, and you start to get into real life. You working, being parents, just everything kind of, how I put it, it's just like you get to real life.
Yeah, definitely.
You get to real life, and I started to understand that you had to really figure out what your expectations are and what your new reality is, and kind of find a balance in that.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yes.
We're still finding our balance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're not gonna sit here like we got it all together, because
absolutely.
We do not have it all together, you guys. And I don't want us to be one of those people or one of those couples who put on as if we got it all together.
Absolutely.
We do not.
Absolutely.
We're still figuring it out. We're learning. It's on the job training is what I always say.
That's why y'all are tuning into Growing with the Griffins.
Because y'all growing with us.
Because we're growing as a community,
We're growing together, and I love doing life with my husband.
Yeah,
it's definitely, I wouldn't choose anyone else to do this journey with other than Marcus Griffin.
Absolutely, babe. Same with you, man. First year struggles. When I think about some first year struggles, I could think of some unhealed trauma that I had coming into our marriage.
Same.
There were unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
There were some communication breakdowns, or not being overly communicating on things that I had to internally work through, and through the help of therapy, and still working through them, right? Because it's a non-ending journey. But these were things where, like, jumping into marriage, you don't realize those gaps until you're sharing a space with someone, or sharing life with someone.
Right.
And it's like, well, I thought that I did this well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, being with your partner, right, and then children, it's like, okay, I see now I have to. So it's, like you said it best, it's on the job training. Different surprises that I had in our first year. Finding also time for me.
Oh yeah.
Right? You have work, father, husband. It's like, okay, through all of these things, who is still Marcus?
Correct. Vice versa.
Who is still Marcus, right? What do I like to do? Children, wife aside. And working through that is like a thing, guys. Like, that is definitely a thing. So knowing yourself outside of husband you, work you, father you is super important, because my wife says it best all the time, like, when you're good, we're good, and I 1000%, believe in that. So if you're watching this, if you don't have a hobby or something to take your mind off of things, please get one. Please get one. Because it truly helps. So yeah. What about you? What are some first year stuff?
I would say the first year is kind of the same things that you had. I think that a lot of times we don't realize that we still deal with triggers and traumas and things like that. And I say that because prior to getting married, I was doing therapy. I was healing in my mind. I was doing all of the work that I needed to be ready ultimately for marriage. I knew that I wanted to be married. I knew that I wanted to be able to have a partner that I can do life with, a best friend, someone that I can travel the world with, raise these children with, create new memories and, do different little things for the holidays and make new traditions. I knew I wanted to do all of these things, but I also knew that it was work that I had to do prior to getting married. But what I didn't know is that you don't really know that, or you don't get to test the work out until you're triggered. And that's ultimately what I always say. We say on the job training a lot, but with being married, a lot of that is you put it to the test. You put it to the test because you don't know that you're triggered by something until someone triggers it. And then once they trigger it, then how you react to it is where you know whether the work is actually, whether it's actually working or not, whether you can put the tools that you learn in therapy to work or not. And I will say one thing, because, I want this to be a vulnerable space where people can know that we're going to keep it real here, y'all. We're going to keep it real. So I was a single mom. So coming from being a single mom to getting married, it's a transition. It's a transition that, it was a surprise, very much so, because when you become one, you're now sharing your space with someone. You're sharing the responsibility with another person. You are now basically sharing control. And I didn't know that I had a control issue until it came to a point where I had to share, what our system was going to look like.
Right.
Being a single parent, I had a system.
It's only you. Yeah, it's only you, right?
I had a system. I'm like, these kids going to bed at this time. This is what we're eating tonight, Absolutely. So I didn't, I would say that I kind of try to give him the space to be able to give his opinion while still saying, well, don't you think this is a good idea? Right. They're still controlling, ladies. It's still controlling. You're trying to get him to go with...
It's okay to let the reins
let it go a little bit, It's all right, ladies. And honestly, I think it was the fear of a system that I built by myself being messed up. I thought of it in the wrong way, honestly. Instead of thinking about it as two people coming together and creating something new or creating something beautiful, and actually trusting my husband to be able to come to the table with good ideas and things for our family. That was something I had to release the control. So I'm still working on it, you guys. I'm going to be honest. Still working. I think I'm doing better. Honey, what do you think?
Oh, I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you. Next, let's talk about it. Two people, two histories, right? We dabbled a little bit on it earlier where we talked about how you had your ideology of what marriage is and I had my ideology of what marriage is. But also now let's talk about like different traumas or different childhood upbringings and bringing those upbringings into our marriage, right? You can start off first, baby, and then I'll chime in right after.
Okay. So I would say as in regards to childhood wounds and childhood things that I saw growing up. So I don't believe I ever saw healthy disagreements. When you do get to a place where your husband rubs you wrong or y'all disagree about something and the kids are in the room, how do you handle that? And how do you handle that in a healthy way? That wasn't something that I saw. And also, just seeing a loving marriage. I didn't see that. Two people coming together, and while life isn't always perfect or you will have your ups and downs, the way that in my head I envision a marriage to be, and I am huge on, podcasts and reading and learning and always trying to, educate myself on how things could be done and better ways of improving. I always wanted to have a loving relationship, loving marriage, even though I never saw it. I didn't see my parents go on date nights. I didn't see, my parents being affectionate and rubbing on each other and loving on each other and a little smack on the butt here and there, I didn't see those things. So that is something that, coming into my marriage, I was like, okay, I want to break that because I want my children, our children, to be able to see a healthy, loving marriage. I want them to be able to see that two people can come together and be best friends and ultimately have healthy disagreement and healthy dialogue, because I want them to be able to understand and know how to, have a disagreement and be able to do it in a way that is not toxic.
Yeah, very healthy. Mm-hmm.
What about you?
With me, I grew up, let me bring it to the, I grew up with both parents in my household. My father passed away when I was 10. Even when he was there, my parents, they were two really headstrong people, loved each other. But, when my dad wanted something, he wanted something. When my mom wanted something, she wanted something. Yeah. So they would often clash in those moments. I knew I definitely wanted to be someone who was always just there for my wife. Yeah. As my dad was there for my mom through ups, downs, and in betweens, whether they was arguing like cats and dogs in the middle of the night. I never saw them not be a unit together when we were around. Right. Again, father later passed away. Then my stepdad comes into the picture. When my stepdad comes into the picture, quite the same thing, right? But my stepdad is one that he'll take care of it. Yeah. Right? Any need of the family, I'll take care of it. A go-getter, someone that gets things done. So when I grew up seeing that and constantly seeing it and hearing it, coming into the marriage, it was like, I have to do everything. Yeah. It was like a Superman complex in a way. Yeah. This is, this is the problem. I got to get it done. This is the issue. I got to get it done. Yeah. And that isn't, I saw like in ways where I definitely need to step forward and take control or take the reins of certain situations. I do have to understand that I have my partner here too, to help me with things. And it's okay to, one, mess up, because that's something that I constantly continue to work on, and two, ask questions, right? Yeah. My love, they don't expect me to know everything all the time. You feel me? So, just having that sense of like security of like, hey babe, I know you guys said this, but where do I start, right? Or maybe I need to, do a little research. You don't need ChatGPT a little something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I walked into marriage, with a Superman complex of like, I got to get it done, because if I don't get it done, then it's not going to get done, and I don't have no one to lean on, which is 1,000% untrue. It's a reality that I put in my head. Yeah.
And what you saw.
And what I saw, so that's definitely something that I walked into marriage, from my childhood, that I felt like I had to do.
So I just want to kind of touch on this a little bit. I know you said that when it comes to like communication, that is something, that you saw was a little bit different in the marriage of the parents, of your parents, and vice versa with my parents. I didn't really see much communication, and when I did see disagreements, I don't feel like it was healthy. Like, how do you feel like seeing the communication with your parents or with our parents helped us to either want to do it that way or want to do it differently?
I heard my parents argue a lot. Yeah. but I also saw them have resolution at the end.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm not the biggest arguer.
Yeah.
I'm an Aquarius, so it's like, all right, like whatever you whatever you want to do, like I'm cool with. Like, but also learning how to also be assertive.
There you go.
On things that I want also, and that's like a department where I'm growing in, because one thing that, you know, could rise up as an issue where me not being assertive when I truly want something, and then I have an attitude because of something that I truly wanted, but I never expressed how I wanted it done.
Right.
Now I got a backhand attitude, and it's like, well, you could have did it that way. So something that I definitely wanted to take away is I can get my point across without yelling.
Yeah.
But also too, I needed to be assertive, and I feel that we are definitely working towards, you know, that balance of you know, you are spitting your piece, I'm spitting my piece, and also too, like, I love how even when we do have disagreements, we don't look at it as you're the problem. Like, we look at things where the problem is the problem.
Yes.
And
us versus the problem.
Us versus the problem, and how can both of us put our minds together to help fix this problem?
Yeah.
And that is something where I definitely love in our marriage that we do.
Vice versa, same. I love that. Okay, so we've touched on a couple good things.
Yes,
Good things. Good job, Lou. Sorry, y'all know me goofy.
If y'all haven't already, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all of that, okay?
Okay, please.
Let's keep it rolling.
So look, the next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about identities outside of our roles as husband and wife.
Yes.
And this is something that we are currently working on right now. Because like we said earlier, when you get married, you have an idea of how things are supposed to be, but honestly, you really don't know. And I feel like it's the same thing when you have children. When you have children, you don't know how to raise children. Things come up, things arise that you didn't even know, or you don't know how to fix it. You don't know what to do. It's the same thing with marriage, honey.
That's right.
And one thing that I didn't know was how to still have time and not lose who I am within the marriage. That's something we actually kind of ran into here recently. I gave birth to our last beautiful blessing, and after that I dealt with postpartum really bad. And my husband, so amazing. He was so amazing, and I applaud him because being a partner, thank you, boo. Being a partner with someone who understands and pushes you to kind of still be an individual is a huge thing, and unfortunately a lot of people don't have that. But I am so used to being a recovering people pleaser. That's one. And just like my husband, I do have a savior complex. So I can get lost in making sure that everyone is good except myself. And I feel like we both do the same thing sometimes, where it's like, I'm making sure the kid's good, he's making sure I'm good, I make sure he's good. But then while we doing that, we look at the counter, the next thing you know, where's the time for ourselves?
That's right.
And the days will roll by, and it's like, okay, we need some time for ourselves. You gotta find a hobby, find something to do. Like, I just got back into dancing again. And he's back in the gym, and he's doing men groups and things like that. So just different things to kind of keep your own identity. You don't want to lose who you are as an individual, even though you are married. Yes, you are married, but you are still an individual person at the end of the day. So
absolutely. Yeah, you touched on all the points. I would say if you're struggling with finding time, because time is of the essence, right? And when you honestly look back after doing all of your roles and responsibilities as, you know, you're working or in a relationship, or even if you are a parent, you sit down and you look at the time and it's like, wow, where did time go? Some strategies is calendar time, right? Like, if you don't make time, you will never have the time. Yeah. That is one of the most important strategies that one of my mentors is teaching me right now. Second is getting yourself out there, right? Like, there are men groups. If you aren't a part of a gym community, please sign up for a gym or having a walk outside. Meditation, prayer, church, whatever you need to do to find yourself outside of the parent you, the marriage you, the working you, or all the different hats, the entrepreneur you, yes. Right? Like, all these different like hats that you might wear in life, find different things to still have that balance, because right, we're people, we're humans, we deal with so many emotions, we deal with stress. You have to find outlets, to healthy outlets to huge. Release some of those tensions, right? Because you know, depression and mental health is very, very real. And, you know, we preach that all the time to each other and our children and our family and friends. Like, you have to take care of here, because if you don't take care of here, then everything else, you know what I mean, will break down too. So definitely having those healthy strategies and finding that balance between all the different hats that you wear.
That's it. Yeah. And just one last thing to piggyback off of that is our home, our family would not be good or would not be in a healthy place if we're not in a healthy place.
Absolutely.
So I'm just going to send that message to whoever receives it.
Absolutely.
If you are not good,
you're not good.
If your husband is not good, if your wife is not good, if y'all are not in a good place, then ultimately the family dynamic is not in a good place. It's not in a good space. So just please, y'all, make time for yourselves. Make time to keep your mental in a good place. Mentally, physically, spiritually. Like, you got to keep that balance and in a good position. So,
absolutely.
And therapy.
Therapy helps. Therapy is key.
I don't know what I would do without my therapist.
Absolutely. Thank you for pushing me into therapy.
Yes, of course I need.
Next question, babe. What do we know now that we wish we knew then?
Ooh. I would say, what I know, I mean, it's so many. I'm trying to pick something.
It really is. It really is. And this is just a year in.
This is a year in, you guys.
A year and some change. Yes.
I would say communication over assumption. I am an empath and intuitive. And sometimes, you know, I feel different things. I can feel energy shifting and things like that. But ultimately, not assuming that it's directly because of me that my husband feels, you know, his energy is off or whatever. Just communicating with him, having effective communication. And before I got into marriage, that was something that I assumed that I had good communication skills until, you know, we started to come to a crossroad where I started to feel like an energy shift, and I automatically assumed, what did I do? Or what's wrong? Or what did I do wrong? And it doesn't always have to be something that you did wrong. So just communicating with my husband, and when he is having an off day, or if I feel like, oh, you know, something not going right, just pulling him to the side, or, you know, asking him, you know, what's going on. Just being straight up and having that communication and not assuming.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, baby.
Of course.
I think the first thing, it's two things. The first thing is, like, healing is personal.
Very much so.
Healing is personal. Healing is a personal journey. It is not up to your partner or your partner's job to heal you. healing is personal. Each of us have our own trauma. Each of us have our own background stories. Each of us is on our own different journeys.
Yeah.
But that journey and how far you go in that journey is all falls on you. We spoke a little bit about traumas that I had, some that we didn't touch on today, that we'll touch on later in different episodes. But without therapy and God, I would not be the man that I am here today. And that's all, like, you nudged me in that right spot. But it ultimately had to be my choice and my decision to put in the work, because the more I put in the work, the better our marriage and the stronger our love. And that means everything to me. The second thing is you're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to, it's like, I think of marriage like snake skin.
Yeah.
Right? Where a snake has its skin, but through each season it sheds
different layers.
It's different layers, right?
Yeah.
And each layer is tougher and better than the coat that they shed. So
that was good.
you like that bit? But you're a trend, love. Like evolve. You're not going to be that same person that you were when you said I do.
Correct.
And through your journey and through healing and through what life throws at you and battling with it with your partner, hopefully you're trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
We say this too. If you were the same person from a year ago, you ain't doing something right.
Yeah.
You're not doing something right.
That work not being put in,
The
baby.
work is not being put in, right? Like, you have to constantly evolve and relearning your partner, right? Like, I make it an effort, and Babe does a great job too. Like, asking questions, communicating, over communicating, right? Because as we get older, interests are gonna change, right? So having that effective communication and always learning your partner is what continues to drive you, into a stronger bond ultimately. So yeah, like, evolving is okay.
It is. And we also, one thing that we kind of started in our marriage was check-ins. With check-ins, basically it's what it says. You're checking in with your partner, and this kind of helps you so that as you are going through life and you're going through the different changes, that you're kind of staying on top of the different changes that you and your husband will go through as the years progress. And we learned this in our wonderful premarital class, doing the check-ins, and that is definitely something where we did fall off and pick back up and fall off and pick back up. It's not going to be perfect all the time, but just trying your best to stay consistent with checking in with each other and seeing how are things going. What are some things that I'm doing great? What are some things that I could stop doing? What are some things that you like? I like that. You can keep doing that. Or I need you to do a little bit more of this.
Right.
That's kind of how the check-ins go. So that's just a little tip there.
I love it. As we wrap up, we want to know, and we want to ask you guys as a community, what was your biggest surprise after saying I do? You are free to DM us your responses, share under our comments, and then if we like it, we want to hear it. We want to hear from y'all too. You know what I'm saying?
Help us out, y'all. We want to know what y'all got going on.
You feel me? Like, we grown with the Griffins, right? It's a community, so we might share our favorite one on our next episode. We'll see. But I truly want to know. I truly want to know you guys' thoughts and everything. Yes.
So,
show some love.
A little closing encouragement that we have here. I got a little something for the ladies. So, to the wife who feels unseen, unheard, or even overwhelmed, trust, you are not alone. Right. You are not failing, and you are still becoming.
Absolutely. And to the husband, what's carrying silent pressure, or who's carrying silent pressure, you don't have to suffer in silence. You're allowed to grow and still be loved through it all. Keep showing up.
Yes. All right, so thank y'all so much for listening and tuning in to Growing with the Griffins.
Growing with the Griffins, y'all.
Make sure that you follow, subscribe, and leave a review.
Absolutely.
Share the episode with a couple who needs a little extra love and, some real talk, because, we're going to give that each and every time, honey.
Next time, we're going to be digging into when they know, and how to spot it, someone serious or stringing you along.
Ooh,
that's gonna be a good one.
Listen, y'all do not want to miss the next one, because baby, it's
Absolutely.
Gonna get juicy.
It's gonna definitely get juicy. All right.
Love y'all.
Well, thank y'all. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all of that. And we can't wait. We love y'all.
That's it. Thanks y'all for tuning into our first episode.
Absolutely, first episode in the books.